Seagull Models L4. Now, you'd be mistaken if it is a Cub. Well, it sort of is a Cub, but this is the military version of the Cub. Now, we're looking at about a 90-inch wingspan here with this L4. Now, what is the difference between the L4 and a traditional Cub? Some subtle differences for military use. At the top here, you can see that there's windows for observing, better observation for the pilot. This model doesn't have flaps. Cubs generally do have flaps. The real one probably did have flaps, but this model doesn't have it. What I love about these Seagull models is they're just getting better and better with their scale detail. This is covered in like a matte covering. I'm not sure what the film is, whether it's a solid text or something similar, but the finish looks really, really good. The landing gear is another thing that I think is amazing. The landing gear is sprung landing gear. So like the real ones, it gives you a bit of bounce, inflatable tyres. To me, it's a 20cc size plane. That's what they're saying. This one's running an electric motor. So you can go electric or a 20cc. You've probably got a nitro in it if you want as well, the equivalent size. But this one's running electric, and we'll get some flying footage of it flying. But it's a beautiful looking scale-like model. It's one of those planes that looks a bit bigger than what it actually is when it's in the air. When I drove up to the field and saw it flying, I thought, gee, that's a big model. And of course, that big massive wing really helps the flying characteristics. So you're looking at a Cub-like plane, but of course the military version, it's a warbird that I like. You're probably wondering how easy it is to assemble this plane, because if you've ever owned a Cub with struts or any plane with struts, sometimes it can be a bit of a hassle. But not with this Seagull Models L4. We have down on the sort of fuselage and there's a couple of pins with just some clips, so that's nice and easy. And then the whole strut sort of folds up, and then to hold the wing on, there's one bolt at the top. You're going to be up and running in no time when you get this out of your car and at the field. I'm here with my buddy Dennis, the owner of this plane. Dennis, tell me a bit about the running gear in this plane. What servos and things are you running?
Basically, it's an L4, as you can see, high-tech throughout. These are all older analogues, basically around about 3.6, 3.9 kilos. Propulsion, normally it's 20cc petrol, but in my case it's 110 electric, which is 2,000 watts. And I'm running a 6S and 3000, and it sits on a tray. And this is one of the big keys that goes with this model, is how easy is it to put in a battery pack. So this will give me 12 to 15 minutes flying time. I just slide it in there, slide it forward. There is a small strap on the side. I put the balance lead in, and it's just a matter of, you can come around here a little bit. There's a bolt that I'm putting in which holds the tray.
Let's see if we can get in there, Dennis, for you.
And it doesn't need it even to be fully tightened down. From there, the only other thing I have to do is hook up power, which is, in this case, is just one plug. Throw the door closed. Good old Spectrum NX, so it works.
Dennis, this is your plane, so you're the best person to tell me how does it fly. What are your thoughts on this plane?
I think it's Pussycat personally, and it's like all of the de Havilland aircraft. It's very easy to fly, but very hard to fly correctly. And it's got its foibles, but basically it's a very sound model.
I think with a lot of these Cubs, actually a friend of mine used to play around with full-size Cubs, and he'd flown model Cubs, and he said that they're actually quite realistic, the model versus the full size. So you're talking about adverse yaw, which I think was an inherent challenge with the Cubs, weren't they?
It is, and I've got a really funny quirk with this model in the fact that I've been in the game long enough to where I use couple rudder and aileron, and for high-speed flight, if I apply right aileron, I apply right rudder. But for low-speed flight, I do exactly the opposite. I apply right aileron and left rudder.
Yeah, okay.
And it's just one of the quirks that goes with this particular model.
And what's your flight time like with your setup?
This is approximately 12 minutes. You'll probably hear in the background through telemetry I've got feedback of voltage. So in my case it's about 24 volts at takeoff, and it's about 20 volts at the end of the flight. And it varies with how heavy I am on the throttle. So
who do you think this plane would be suitable for?
Intermediate to advanced flyers. I think it could catch the younger flyer out, and it is not a small model, and when things go wrong, it goes wrong real quickly.
Yeah, well, do you know what the weight is?
This is 6.5 kilos, and
okay.
That makes it quite easy. The thing is, what I like about it is it's got such a large wing loading, wing area. It's got a low wing loading, so this allows you to deal with low speed flight.
Yeah, now Dennis is a very smooth flyer, as you can probably tell some of the footage, and I don't consider you to be a speed demon at all. You generally like the low and slow kind of stuff.
I sure do.
Yeah.
And things like I fly otters and chipmunks and
Pawnees.
Pawnees. And I basically put a lot of hours on my models, and
he's electric, man, aren't you?
Yeah,
everything's electric.
Yeah.
Dennis is my personal battery charger here at the field when I come down here. So a big thank you to Dennis. He's a good bloke. Dennis, how many hours have you been flying this model?
Transmitter's got 22 hours, of which I reckon there's probably an hour of setting up, and I would guess at about 15 hours of flying time, actual, in the air.
The plane still looks new.
Well,
You're looking after
been
it.
around for a while.
Dennis, the generator's going on in the background. Someone's about to go for a fly, but you were just telling me about the build, and I thought, wait a second, I've got to capture that on camera. What was the build like of the L4?
Basically 2 days, very casual, and if you want things that take time, it's nuts and bolts for the undercarriage and the strut system. What I really like is the adjustable motor mount for the electrics. Very easy to tack in with CA. Get it all right, get your cowl in and everything, and then go back and epoxy it. And for the rest of it, everything just fitted, and I really like that.
And you were telling me a bit about how you've seen an improvement in the Seagull models.
Something's happened in Seagull in the last 12 months. I've got a Focke 190, and it's the same general size. It's very average kind of build, and I had to do a lot of work to make it a really operational model. I've got a chipmunk which is just about ready to fly. It's the same size as this. Once again, a pleasure to put together. And I love things like undercarriage mounts. They've got ply ribs with really solid ply mounts. So probably going to prove me wrong, but I think it's going to be a really serviceable model.
Dennis has just completed another successful flight on the L4 from Seagull Models. Now, if you want to grab one yourself, they're available at all good hobby stores. Just hit up your local Seagull dealer in whatever country you're in. If you're here in Australia, Model Flight have them, so hit them up. 20cc size, good package, easy to fly as Dennis said, easy to build, great Seagull quality. Looks awesome at the field as well. So you can't go wrong with the Seagull Models L4.